About 1/3 of the way into your field guide, you will find pages devoted to some hard-to-find birds. These are the rails. They are strange, chicken-like marsh birds. In this video, I'll give you some tips on finding Soras. These are fairly common freshwater rails. But being common doesn't make rails easy to see. Have you seen Soras before? Tell me in the comments about your most memorable encounter. You should look for Soras in ponds and freshwater marshes with cattails and flooded grasslands. Or rather, you should listen for rails here, because you will hear far more rails than you will ever see. Soras have distinctive calls and summer songs. Once one rail calls, the whole marsh may sound off. Rails respond well to recordings of their calls. Don't play bird recordings in parks, refuges, or areas where other birders visit often. And if you do see rails, you are likely to get only a brief, mostly obstructed view, but the view often improves with patience. Soras are about the size of robins, though with much shorter tails. They are pudgy looking, but can slip through the dense, flooded marsh plants with barely a ripple. These birds are gray, black, and brown, with buffy yellow under tail coverings. Adults have black faces, which first-year birds lack. Legs are lime green with long toes, but the short, cone-shaped yellow bill is all you really need to see to positively identify this bird. They usually run to avoid danger, but can swim and will fly short distances. Despite being rather clunky flyers in the marsh, they are long-distance migrants. They nest from northern Canada south through most of the United States, except they don't breed in the southeast or lower Mississippi region. They spend the winter south from California to Texas and south to Central America, and along coastal marshes from Texas to Florida and to Virginia. In Oregon, I always looked for the first Soras and first common yellowthroats to arrive about the 1st of April. In fact, except for that southeastern U.S. area, if you are in a wetland with common yellowthroat, you can probably find Soras too, summer or winter. Other marsh birds that are in the same habitat with Soras are Virginia rails, marsh wrens, nesting red-winged blackbirds, cinnamon teal, Wilson snipe, and yellow-headed blackbirds. Cattails and rushes are the typical plants most people think of as Sora rail habitat, but Soras use flooded grassy pastures more readily than do Virginia rails, for instance. Soras eat invertebrates, seeds, and marsh plants. The natural reaction for Soras when seeing a person is to freeze until they pass. To observe Soras often requires patience and sitting still for 15 minutes or longer. To get this video, I visited this small pond 3 times and sat for over a half hour each time. Only on one visit did the rail come out. Others who visited had this same experience, though once the birds were out while birders were active and talking. I suggest bringing a small folding stool to make your wait more comfortable. Be quiet and keep movement and talking to a minimum. Birds are less afraid of sitting people than standing. If you can canoe or kayak, that can be rewarding too. I know it's hard at the edge of the marsh, but try not to be out in the open. Sit in the shade of a tree or behind bushes. If you can view from inside your vehicle, that can be an effective bird blind. Rails like to wade, hiding behind emergent vegetation. They often cross open areas quickly or sneak along the sides. Thus, you need to position yourself where you can observe the wet edges of the marsh. Perhaps you can watch down a muddy stream channel or drainage ditch. Here's another tip for you. Rails tend to be more active at dawn and dusk. You may be more likely to see rails out farther from cover early or late in the day. I hope this video gives you a better idea of how Soras behave, where and when they occur, and how to best find and see them. Let me know if these tips were helpful.